There's a quiet kind of power that doesn't come from fighting harder, proving yourself, or trying to make others see your worth. It comes from something most people fear doing: walking away. Whether it's from a relationship that drains you, a job that suffocates you, or a situation that constantly takes more than it gives, walking away isn't weakness. It's one of the strongest psychological moves you can ever make. But here's the secret. It doesn't just change how others see you. It rewires how you see yourself. Let's start with the truth most people avoid. We stay too long. We stay in conversations that go nowhere, in relationships that take our peace, in environments that dim our energy because our brains are wired for attachment. Psychology calls it loss aversion. It means the pain of losing something feels twice as strong as the joy of gaining something new. So instead of leaving, we keep hoping things will change, convincing ourselves that maybe we're asking for too much, or maybe if we just try harder, it'll work. But walking away isn't about giving up. It's about reclaiming control over where your energy goes. When you walk away, you send a powerful signal to others. Yes, but even more importantly, to yourself. You tell your brain, I am not trapped. I have choices. That single belief changes everything. Neuroscientists call this the agency effect, the psychological strength that comes from recognizing you're the one steering your life. Once you feel that, you stop begging for validation and start building boundaries. Most people misunderstand what walking away really means. They think it's an act of anger or pride, but in reality, it's often an act of peace. It's saying, I'm done arguing for my worth. It's realizing that your silence speaks louder than your defense. Because when you stop fighting for someone to see your value, you finally give yourself the space to live as. You already see it. There's something deeply magnetic about that kind of calm detachment. In relationships, for example, a person who's willing to walk away tends to hold more psychological power, not because they're manipulative, but because they're not afraid of loss. People sense that. When you no longer depend on others for your sense of identity, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability in psychology equals strength. It's the opposite of desperation. Let's be clear. Walking away doesn't mean cutting people off cold or pretending you don't care. It's about understanding when effort becomes self-destruction. It's the moment you realize you've been trying to build a bridge to someone who's not meeting you halfway. That realization is painful, but it's also freeing. It's the line where self-respect begins. There's also a fascinating biological side to this. When you walk away from something toxic, your body physically begins to reset. Your cortisol, the stress hormone, drops. Your nervous system starts to calm down. Your sleep improves. You think clearer? It's not just emotional healing, it's chemical. Your body recognizes safety when you stop forcing yourself into situations that hurt you. You start to remember what peace feels like. And the irony. The moment you no longer need something is often the moment it starts chasing you. That's because your energy shifts. People can feel when you've emotionally detached, not in bitterness, but in quiet confidence. The same dynamics that once drained you begin to reverse. Why? Because walking away teaches others how to treat you. It communicates that access to you is a privilege, not a guarantee. One of the hardest lessons in psychology is that closure doesn't always come from conversation. Sometimes it comes from distance. You don't always need to explain your reasons or make others understand. The need to explain often comes from insecurity, the part of you that still wants to be seen as the good one. But when you're truly done, you realize you don't owe anyone an exit speech. Peace doesn't need justification. There's a quote that says, sometimes walking away is the only way to win. And that's true, but it's not about winning over others. It's about winning yourself back. It's about rediscovering the parts of you that were lost, trying to please, prove, or fix. It's standing in your own silence and realizing that stillness is not emptiness, strength. Psychologists often talk about the self-worth loop. The more you tolerate disrespect, the lower your self-worth becomes. But the moment you walk away from what devalues you, that loop reverses. Every time you choose yourself, your brain learns that you are worth choosing. And that builds confidence that no one can take away. Here's the deeper truth. Walking away isn't something you do once, so it's something you learn to do when needed. It's a muscle that gets stronger with practice. The first time you do it, it feels unbearable. The second time, it feels empowering. And eventually it becomes natural. You stop chasing what's not aligned with you and start attracting what is. Because the energy of self-respect always draws in better things. The real power of walking away is that it's not about control, it's about freedom. It's about no longer letting fear of loss decide your future. It's about trusting that peace will replace what you release, because it always does. When you walk away from something that's not serving your growth, life has a way of filling that space with something that does. So if you're standing at that edge, feeling torn between holding on and letting go, remember this: peace is not found in convincing others to value you. It's found in walking toward the version of yourself that already knows your worth. And if this message resonates with you, you're someone who loves exploring the expology of power, boundaries, and emotional freedom, then make sure to subscribe to PsycheEdge. Join our community of thinkers and feelers who are ready to understand themselves on a deeper level. Because here, we don't just talk about the mind, we learn how to take it back.